Life, Episode 4, What Just Happened. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Lisa. And seriously, what just happened?
Y'all, it's been a year. Apparently I've gone down south since we've been here, but it's been a year. 2020.
No doubt.
Hashtag.
Yeah. Well, when we last left you, Michelle was gearing up for IUI number 2, and we know we kind of like left the videos in a lurch there. We didn't update you. We had taken a week off for Michelle's birthday, which turned into 8 weeks, and time seriously has no meaning in 2020. Let's be honest.
Let's seriously be honest. And since we left you hanging, sorry, we got our second negative. Sadly, I'm sure many of you realize that since we did go through IVF since then. As I said, a round of IVF. And we did have all intentions of filming week after week, but life, work, virtual events are not fun. An overall need to really just slow down really just got in the way. So we really had all intentions, but we really just needed to listen to our bodies. We needed to quiet things down for a few weeks, but we're back. We're feeling ready to take on life, but one day at a time.
Yeah, that's just the way it has to be. We can be so ambitious with, the things that we want to do, but right now there's a lot going on. So what is next?
What is next?
And what went on? And what is the plan? So
here we go. But first things first, we are modeling our Mitzi NY Saturday Tank Gold on Black. Fun fact, FourC actually started with 4 young cast girls. Myself, Sarah, Bethany, and Charity, way back in the day. And so Lisa and I actually took the name, thank you girls for your blessing, and turned it into something for us that is really inspiring and motivating, but also kind of brings our family component in, which is really cool. So we are wearing these tanks to support Sarah Cast Bolanini. Huge shout out to Sarah, who is on an amazing endeavor with Mitzi NY. Check out mitzyny.com if you'd like to get one of these tanks of your own.
Yes.
Or maybe purchase a gently used Louis Vuitton or something amazing.
Other luxury goods.
Or if you live on Long Island, check out the shop in Rockwell Center.
Yes.
Sarah, we love you. We're so proud of you. And we want to sport our Mitzi shirts for you today.
Yes, and so we will certainly be tagging this and Mitzi on our Insta story, so Absolutely. Be sure to check them out on Instagram.
Definitely.
So getting back to all things pregnancy. Getting the results on August 28th of our second IUI, I was kind of like moved emotionally and sad. I really wanted it to take, and I wanted to move forward, and that just wasn't the plan, and that's okay.
Yeah, I definitely was a little bit more cerebral than Lisa, as I normally am.
Yes.
I was like, what's next, right? What's the plan? I had kind of had a feeling it wasn't a positive. As much as I wanted my Aries and as much as I wanted my Taurus, it just wasn't in the cards. And I think your body, you have a feeling. And just for me, it felt very similar to the first time. There was actually a moment during the 2-week wait where I said to Lisa, like, it didn't take. And she was like, whoa. Like, slow your roll. We don't know anything yet. And I was like, okay, like, you can keep hope, but I know my body. So for me, it was a little bit more like what's next. So Dr. Levine called us. We were literally sitting on a beach.
We did. We took that day off, knowing that we were going to get, we went for the blood test, and we decided to go to the beach and just spend some time together.
It was really fun.
I think it was the best thing we could have done instead of coming back home and,
sitting around,
booting up the laptops and trying to work. So it was a great idea.
It really was. And it was actually Lisa's idea, so thank you. And we had a really fun and memorable day.
Yeah.
And so when Dr.
And we had drinks.
We did. I was going to say. When Dr. Levine called, we were like, okay, number 1, like, what's the plan? Mm-hmm. Number 2, we're going to get margaritas. And he was like, please go. Yes. Please get those margaritas.
Exactly.
But he gave us some really great statistics, which helped inform our decision.
Yeah, that was very important to us. So apparently the success of a third IUI is only 15%.
At least, I guess, in my case.
I guess, in your case. I mean, we're going to talk about, let's get specific here. The chances of a miscarriage during an IUI is 36%.
And you know why, because there's less known, right? So, so the percentage is higher because nothing's been tested. Right? Which is what we didn't actually know right away.
No.
We've learned it in this process.
We had no idea.
Yeah.
So IVF success is 70%. So success of a third IUI is 15%. IVF success is 70%. So,
right.
And the miscarriage statistics with IVF are only 3.8%. So, Michelle, being cerebral, was like, what are we doing here? What is the point of a third IUI then?
Right. Yeah. So, we had some things to think about, but it kind of sounded like a no-brainer to us, I was definitely nervous, though, hearing from everyone I know who's been through IVF, like, they couldn't walk, they couldn't sit.
Because of the harvest.
Yes, they couldn't lay, meaning that you're, not to be like TMI, but obviously we're talking about pregnancy and fertility, like, your ovaries can get so large that you become very uncomfortable, and we had heard from...
You have all your eggs in your basket.
Literally. We had heard from 3 people we know who had gone through it that it was like a rough process for them, So I was like, what am I about to put myself through? But having had a feeling that the second IUI, like I said, were going to be negative, I had already been kind of like gearing up mentally and thinking about like what could the next steps be. So before we even got the results, I was asking the women I knew, like, tell me, what do you think? What was your IVF all about? Yeah, that's me. Like, what's next? What's happening? We don't stop. We don't slow down. We don't think. So we just do.
Go. Michelle Cast. Okay, so with that,
right.
Since we were also already thinking about what my journey would look like, a good friend, Erin.
Shout out
to Erin Wren, had said to Michelle, would you ever consider Lisa going through IVF right out the gate so that she can harvest her eggs, they'll be fertilized, and they'll be waiting for her and kind of like take the stress out of the situation for the future? And honestly, for us, that was like, hello, brilliant idea.
Thanks, Erin. She gets full credit for not
what
only
would
that,
we do?
but also
what would we do? She was there for the donor choosing.
She's loving this.
Yeah.
She's loving this. And she has 2 beautiful twins who we adore, so.
Auntie, we can't wait. We're going to let our children know that all of this would never have happened if it wasn't for you. Okay, so a light bulb went off, the seed was planted, and we asked Dr. Levine, hey, what are your thoughts on this? And he was like, of course, I think that this is a fine idea. And we did weigh the pros and cons of the situation. We didn't just say like, oh, this is a great idea, and like not consider what I would go through, kind of like taking that IUI experience out of the equation for me, and I thought about it, but for the greater good of myself and knowing myself, I get to now, I could enjoy parenthood after Michelle gives birth, fingers crossed, very soon in the future, and just enjoy my first child and not worry about when am I going to have our second child. So, yes.
Not only that, but we actually like called our insurance. Like literally we're on the beach, we're doing all this. My phone was like 7% that day. Like it's never been 7% in the history of my life ever. So like we called the insurance company. It turns out, so we have progeny insurance, which we've talked about, which we're very blessed and lucky to have through Lisa's job. We get something called 4 smart cycles. And so...
Not each.
Total. Lifetime.
Between the 2 of us.
So IVF is a full cycle?
Overall, from harvest to transfer is 1 full cycle.
And IUI is a quarter. So we've done 2 IUIs, so we wasted.
We're chipping away at the cycle.
Right? A half a cycle already. So we figure, you know what? We use a full IVF cycle on me, a full IVF cycle on Lisa. We're still left with, what's that? A cycle and a half. God forbid we need anything else
for the future
again.
transfers and things like that.
We also looked at it like with our insurance, why waste, the IUI, and also like Lisa said, like the stress of her being like, I have to start. Like I'm getting older. She's only a few months older than me, but thinking about like the big 4-0 isn't that far away. Like, anything we could do to kind of like increase our chances and make things feel a little bit better. So we made the decision, so the plan was set. IVF retrieval for me in September. So literally now it's August 28th. And so like, it's all about to start. It's all happening, right? IVF retrieval for Lisa in October.
Yes.
And then.
Which is
now.
Here.
And then embryo transfer for me in November. So what does that mean? Here we are. My September went alarmingly well. The nurse said that I was certainly not the norm. She Poor Lisa. She said, Lisa, you have a tough act to follow. But then she retracted and she said, no, you'll have your own experience. Like, don't at all.
My own experience.
So she was like, Michelle's not the norm, but we're really glad she's having a good experience. So
I was very glad she was having a good experience.
I was very lucky. Like, not only has it been the support of everyone, but of course, like, everything Lisa did, like, she was amazing at, like, mixing the shots. And, like, I'm not good with shots at all. So, like, I tried to do my first shot and I, like, lost my mind, like, not okay. Yeah. So I was like, never again am I doing that. I know. So, like, we came up with our routine. It was perfect. I started my shots on Saturday, September 5th, Labor Day weekend, got to, like, veg at the beach, spend some time with some amazing people, which was a really nice way to kind of start my journey.
Yeah.
And then I had my retrieval on Wednesday, September 16th. And it was my first time being put under, but it went well. And, like, I think I bounced back pretty well.
You were a champ. I cannot. I literally cannot.
And it's so sad because of COVID, you can't have anyone back in the recovery room. But, like, literally, like, Dr. Levine was amazing. He came in, like, took my phone. He's like, let's take a selfie. The nurses were wonderful. They had, like, snacks on point.
I loved it. It was great.
Who wants popcorn? But all the other snacks.
Smart pop.
Smart pop.
We're not talking about, like,
it was skinny pop.
Like right. Smart pop, skinny pop, it's all the same. It's low in calories.
Nobody wants that. Anyway.
CCRM. Don't even bring it to my room.
Don't even think about
it.
So Dr. Levine on my retrieval day retrieved 16 eggs. 9 were fully mature. Mm-hmm. Of the remaining 7, like, they were all, like, a day away from maturity. So, like, they all did really well. Like, Dr. Levine said he was very proud. And then, so out of the 9, 8 fertilized. Mm-hmm. And then from there, 2 made it to day 5 blastocyst status. And 2 made it to day 6 blastocyst status. My pitch went up there. So I
blastocysts.
4 frozen embryos. 2 day 5 and 2 day 6. And we get the results this Friday.
But where are they now?
Where are they? So they do a biopsy of them, and they are in Colorado being tested. Yeah. So we will know the genetic testing if everything looks good.
On a jet plane.
I love when you sing. Like, I'll never sing, but I love when you do. So they're being genetic tested, they're being gender tested, and they're being chromosomal tested. So there's your answer to why the percentages of miscarriage are less with IVF, because you've already gone through all this testing.
Thoroughly tested. You know you have a healthy, fertilized embryo.
And I don't think every clinic does this, so we're very, very lucky.
We really have no idea, but it's quite possible.
So we'll find out on Friday, October 9th.
But wait!
Oh my God.
There's more.
The hysteroscopy?
Yes.
I know. It's not even in our notes.
It's not in the notes.
But I had the same thought. So real quick, Friday we'll find out how many of the 4 will be good for transfer.
Right.
But I will have Lisa interject here on the hysteroscopy.
Okay, so
if we're saying it correctly.
I'm going to say this real quick. We're probably not saying it right. But we get a phone call from CCRM, and they're like, oh, by the way, like, your hysteroscopy, I'm not saying it right, there's a payment for it, whatever. We're like, excuse us, what is happening?
Excuse us.
Excuse us.
Please hold.
Pardon. What are you talking about?
On the floor.
It turns out an email went into spam about this procedure.
Which, like,
it's okay.
Never happens.
Really? With your
me?
email address?
I know. I'm on top of everything.
So,
pardon.
So we're like, well, but what is this test? And so we made our phone calls just to make sure that this wasn't something, and we know Dr. Levine is so thorough, and we know he wouldn't do something that was,
extraneous.
Thank you.
Yes.
For no reason or whatever, So after talking to the nurse and we said to ourselves, you know what? They gave us the option. Well, you don't have to if you really don't want to. And we said, you know what? Dr. Levine is a smart cookie. We're going to go with the procedure. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's a reason behind it. And, let's just really make sure that, so what it does is it biopsies the uterine lining to make sure, and it also, he goes in there with, a light, kind of like this ring light, but, a lot smaller. And
I think it's like a colonoscopy or an endoscopy, right?
Right.
You got the same thing at the end.
Right. It's got it's like a little ring light. it goes and it's like,
my uterus.
are you ready for the pictures? And it takes pictures.
Yes, we have like gorgeous photos of my uterine lining.
It looks like something from Stranger Things, from the upside down. But either way, guess what? Dr. Levine calls, which we love phone calls from Dr. Levine.
They're the best.
He calls to say, TMI, there is inflammation in Miss Michelle Marie Cast's uterine lining.
Absolutely. And he said it was low. He said like some women he's seen like up to 50 or more. Mine was like 10 cells or something. But it's something.
It's something that could have prevented previous implantation.
Absolutely.
And
it could have prevented implantation of our embryo in November.
Exactly.
So I took 10 days of antibiotic, as well as Alyssa from my custom nutrition gave me a couple of more supplements for inflammation, so anti-inflammatories, which, you know, we would have never known.
Hello.
This is why we do these things.
This is why CCRM. This is why Dr. Levine.
This is why. And like, we literally don't say this like for any reason except that we've been so blessed to have such an amazing experience, and like, God willing, I get pregnant in November, but like, it's just something we wouldn't have known, and it would have been one of those question marks. So we're just so grateful.
Right. Yes. We feel very fortunate and very grateful.
So on Friday, we'll find out, like I said, about the embryos. And not only that, but it will be Lisa's suppression check, which means
yay!
they'll check her hormone levels
and
her
stick
follicles.
a thing up me to see how many follicles I have.
So, yes. So it's a really big day on Friday. We're going to find out so much.
Super exciting.
So I was lucky. I felt good, I will say. I couldn't work out because I was really freaked out about like the warning of you could twist an ovary. So I will say it was not all, literally, sunshine and rainbows. Like it was not all sunshine and rainbows.
No.
So I did gain 10 pounds back that I took off in quarantine due to being sedentary. As I said, fear of twisting an ovary from working out too hard. Really, not only that, but work was insane. And just like, you know, think about when you're a woman, or maybe you're someone who's with a woman or just knows women really well. We get hormonal and mushy, and we just like want to be and like nest and be cozy. So I was just like wanted to eat everything, and I was mushy, and that's just how I felt. Not to mention I gained 10 pounds of water leading up to and during my procedure.
That was wild.
Which I was actually able to thankfully lose after my retrieval.
Yeah, pretty quickly.
But this whole thing brings us back to the origins and the original proponents of FourC. So it's really the struggle for us of maintaining our diet and exercise. So sadly, like, I'll never just be able to sit around and like eat whatever I want, like all the Levine cookies and everything else in the world, like without seeing immediate impact. So
and honestly, this has been like this for forever and ever. This is an age.
No. This is just us.
This is an age. This is just our body types.
So the question for us is like, how do you let yourself off the hook during a process that requires treating yourself with some extra TLC?